What do you wish your parents would have told you about being an adult? Like prepared you for, or taught you about, or um, set you up for, whatever it is, that you were like, when you found out, you had to find out the hard way, and you were like, damn it, but nice to know this shit, type of thing.
Economics and living on your own. I wish I would have been prepared a little bit better for that because that was kind of a rude awakening. When I moved out of the house, I had a roommate, bought a mobile home, and I had a roommate, and things were okay. But after he moved out, I was screwed. I couldn't afford shit.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a rude awakening on how to handle your bills. But other than that, no, not really.
I don't ever remember struggling to figure shit out, like filling out a W-2 or applying for a job or doing my taxes or um, signing a contract for a utility or a lease. Like I don't
Yeah,
remember struggling through any of that, but I also don't remember you guys ever being like, "This is how you do," either. So I don't
yeah.
know if it was just like I never really experienced something that was over my head to the point where I couldn't just fucking figure it out or whatever. But I know the boys have mentioned financials is a big thing that they
Oh, but yeah,
are a bit
it
off
ultimately
on.
affects how you live.
Yeah, well,
You need to know.
I know that they're about, like, they've always talked about like investing in stocks and shit like that, like beyond what I have. Do you miss working now that you're retired?
Some days I do. Some days. I think we discussed this before. If I could have the summers off, I wouldn't have quit working. I'd have found another job if I could have summers off.
You could probably be like a teacher's aide,
Yeah, but
something
then I
like
have to get
that.
licensed and all that shit. And
Mm, I don't know. I don't know what it requires to do just an aide.
I kind of lost motivation for that after being retired for 3 years.
And maybe if it was like right after you had planned
Yeah,
it before
yeah.
you left, then you'd might,
Take,
yeah, no, I get
take a little vacation once I
yeah,
was laid off, but after that, get right back in the saddle.
right. Do you think drugs should be legal?
Depends on which ones.
All of them.
I, no, no, I don't.
What do you think shouldn't be?
What they consider controlled substances. I don't think cocaine should be legal. I don't
Yeah.
think methamphetamine should be legal. I don't think heroin should be legal. No, I don't think acid should be legal.
Why?
Firsthand experience, like with hallucinogenics, is like acid. I'll say that. Um, this kid I went to school with all through grade school and into high school, he abused it. He did so much of it that he was not right anymore. Acid had fucked his brain up bad. He just did too much of it.
Hmm.
And I think if it was legal, it would happen more often than not. I do. I think drugs that become highly addictive should not be legal. But in that regard, I don't think doctors prescribing these highly addictive drugs constantly just for the kickback cash, that should be, it's the same thing, Meg. Should that be legal? No, and it's not. They just don't get caught. You know,
Hmm. Um,
people tend to, I don't know your experience, but my experience in the day was too much of a good thing was a bad thing. And
I
that,
think at this point it's so saturated it doesn't matter at that, like, to that extent. These
You
are
can't trust the shit
so
anymore, Meg.
that's my point. You can't trust things. You can't be sure that you're not going to get a disease from the needle. And I really would not want to see an addict today get some sort of disease and get clean tomorrow and have to live with that mistake the rest of their life because of that. And
Yeah.
yes, they, at some point they made the choice. I get it. But as an addict myself, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, there is hope and there is a way to change. And I would hate for that. And even still, uh, one of the other things was going to be next is prostitution. You think prostitution should be legalized, and I think it should be as well. And I think because
Yeah.
when you legalize these more dangerous subjects and substances and activities, whatever you want to call them, people are going to do it anyway. It does not matter. You're not going to stop that, but you will stop fentanyl killing people. You will stop when they have a safe space to trip instead of out in an alley freaking out some old lady that's walking by, or well, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you have a way to control more of what is going on, with those substances that are killing people, and instead of demonizing them by putting them in jail or giving them probation that's lingering with them the rest of their life. And okay, they spent 2 weeks in jail and now they're on probation. Do you think they're going to get clean? No, they're probably going to get popped another couple months. And guess what? They broke probation plus the new charge. Now they're away for several years, right? Well, in the whole time, if we would have just offered some sort of rehab, they could have possibly, and not everyone, sometimes it takes a couple of shots, but it's almost cheaper to offer some sort of a rehab 2 3 times to a person than have them sit there for 25 years in prison
Well,
and take care of them that way, ain't it?
it
Wouldn't it be
depends. Some states
cheaper?
have that, Meg. Some
Well,
states have that.
yeah, and that's what I agree with. That I agree with that. I genuinely think that. Do I think it's a good thing to do drugs? Absolutely not. Not like that. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has their experimental time. Whatever, I'm not going to judge anybody, that's not my job, but point is, like, you're not going to stop people from doing it. And unfortunately at this point it's so saturated with all of it. The focus now is no longer legalities because we lost that war, right? We lost that war on drugs. Let's just admit that right now. We lost it. We have so much of the South addicted to opioids. It's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Like, drugs are everywhere at this point. The East, the West, the North, South, it doesn't matter. We're
Oh
fucked
yeah,
on that end. So
you
that we
can't avoid
lost
them.
that war, but maybe we could save ourselves a little bit, with some more social help instead of legal. Maybe our approach needs to be a little bit shifted from the legal aspect to and more to the mental health and therapy and rehab aspect of it.
Yeah.
But same with prostitution. If that was legal and controlled and you had brothels that had to adhere and prostitutes that had to adhere to certain safety and health codes, right? Because it's a business, a legal business,
Well, it's like out
then
in Vegas. It's legal
they
out there, and
then they
it's
wouldn't
tightly
have
controlled.
diseases and worry of unsafe environments or people coming in. If they were able to vet their fucking patrons, and not for doxing purposes or anything, but for health safety reasons, right?
Right.
Or environmental safety. These dudes can't fucking rape these women or beat them
Right.
or choke them or what the fuck. Because they're in a safer environment, it's more controlled. I just feel like we're not going to stop people from being people and doing things that, unfortunately, a lot of these activities stem from something else. And if that something else isn't going to be addressed, which it won't be because it's how they make money off of them, type of shit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as you got poverty, as long as you got people working paycheck to paycheck, as long as you have people that have no type of escape, can't afford to take their family on vacation, and depressed as fuck because they hate their job and they're barely making it. So they turn to alcohol, they turn to drugs, they turn to things that are going to make them feel superhuman or get over that relationship or get over that hump in the road or make them be better at their job so they can get that promotion, but then they lose it all, right? In the end. So like these are the stories now. To me, that's if we aren't going to fix the income gaps, the cost of living, the social issues that we're dealing with, like, but that's why people do it, is my point. And until we can have a more secure
But
society,
that I know, but
it's not
saying
going to
all that,
stop.
uh, uh, to me, that's just using an excuse to do bad things.
No,
I'm depressed and I'm sad because I can't make it. So what are you doing? You go out, you sit at the bar and you get drunk every freaking night. And how much money are you losing when you could have been paying your bills?
no, it's a matter of like what I'm saying more is if life wasn't so shitty for so many people, when it really, honest to God, doesn't have to be, right? At this
No,
point,
it
we
don't
should
have to
all
be.
agree that ain't a single person on this earth should live and stress about a motherfucking thing. And not saying we all are living the nines and like that's no none of that, but
I
have a
know,
roof
but
over our head, fed, warm, what the fuck, cared for. Mm.
it's the money and the religion, the haves and the have-nots,
Well, yeah, and that's
and
what I'm saying.
the
You
zealots.
see the have not so are the ones that are sitting in prisons because they made a bad decision and they can't afford a lawyer and they can't get off like that rich boy did. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
it
And shit
should
like
be.
that all the time. And my point is, and when we're in a world, in a society that we could actually all live in this, 100%, if we could snap our fingers and that's the way that it would be for everyone, just basics, right? Like, I'm not saying spoil people, I'm just saying basics. If we could snap our fingers and that be it in moments, guaranteed there would be less people needing something to
Oh yeah.
escape life. And so you would have less turning to alcohol or drugs or sex or whatever addiction you can have. And that's my point. It's not an excuse, it's a cause more than an excuse. And
Well,
I only, and maybe not for everybody, because you can easily flip that. But guarantee there are so many people, way more people out there that would have never I would have never gotten addicted to meth if I
uh,
wasn't at a point in my life where I needed that. I fucking needed to be superhuman. I needed the energy. I had everything on my plate. I had to figure it the fuck out. I had no choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, not to say that that situation wasn't partially my fault, right? However, had overall life be easier for people and just in general, right? Very well could have not been in that situation as quickly or at all. And
and
in some of those instances, those drugs would definitely not have been anything to me. I wouldn't have needed it. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't would have been done because I am
and
now, right? Like,
well,
I'm
back in
solo
my day,
now doing it. So I have the capability. I just didn't know that then. So if I would have had the comfort of financially being more stable, like now, if I would have been mentally healthier and doing what I needed to do and getting the medications I needed and all of these things, it is less likely that I would have struggled at that moment and went to something that was a quick fix and ended up being a
and
terrible
now
decision.
on the flip side of that, when I went through my escapade as a 14-year-old kid, you know why I did?
Hmm.
To be cool.
Well, you
That's why
were
I started smoking.
14. That's why I started smoking cigarettes, was to be cool, because that was a cool thing whenever I was young. But that's different. You're 14. Like I was a goddamn adult with two children. What the fuck am I doing with my life at that point, right? Like, what are you fucking up? Get get the fuck out of here. But I'm not gonna lie. I probably wouldn't take it back.
You don't regret any of that?
I don't I wouldn't say necessarily regret, but like in
I regret it
ways
for you.
I'm very grateful for it because I love who I am. Yeah, but I think some of those hardships and things that I experienced led me to understanding who I was, led me to believing in myself and being like, what the? But what I'm saying is, without it, I wouldn't be who I am today. And
Uh,
that's what I'm saying. Whether my choice or the people that were in it or whatever it was, drugs, situations, environments, relationships. I don't think
well,
there's
we're
any
going to end
choice.
this episode. I'm hungry.
Yep. Love ya.
Love ya.
Good night. Bye.
Night. Bye.